Bill, what do you think is one of the biggest factors you wish you knew when you were first starting this career that would have made things just so much more better?
I guess financing and not taking out such a huge loan for that. Where I was, it was probably the right way to go. But as you spoke to earlier, for a lot of people, it's a good idea to do the private and the instrument at an FBO kind of thing, or at a school that isn't going to, where you're not taking out a huge loan.
Right.
I'm still paying mine. I heard you have paid yours off, so congratulations.
Yeah, I did I've had many issues over the years, and just to clarify the method I've used to pay it off. So, you get this giant loan from, at the time, was KeyBank, right? Mm-hmm. And then KeyBank sells the loan like 4 or 5 times, and you're paying it off, and then you go through downturns and leave of absences and furloughs and things, and sometimes you just can't. It's not in the budget, so you gotta take forbearances, and you have to do reassessments of loans, and so these loans tend to kind of become a monster of financial burden for most pilots that don't have the means to just pay it off, the training that is, immediately. So I went through all those. I'm no different than most people I've spoken with about getting big student loans, going to a big flight farm like we did. And I saw this variable rate loan was a really, low interest rate, tax deductible. Every year, I was able to take the hit and pay it off. And then I was paying double for a while because I could afford it. And then I started realizing, here we are now in a time when the interest rates are starting to creep up again. And I told myself, the minute that my interest rate on this student loan, it's a private student loan, not a federal student loan. So no, I could not have requested the write-off. And even if I did, I don't know if I would, because becomes a big political taxpayer burden. But to stay with the loan, I told myself, as soon as it got above 5% interest rate, that I had enough paid off already to where I could have easily just paid cash and, reduced my savings by a significant margin so that I wouldn't pay off that interest. But then I would not have that safety net that is a savings account that we should all have, especially in this career field. So what I ended up doing is I got a loan out of my 401k. So I had, I don't know the exact amount, but let's just call it like $28,000 left on this student loan, and which I've paid over 2 or 3 times over in terms of the original amount. And I took a loan out from my 401k. Now the 401k interest rate is a little higher; it's like 6.25 or something like that. But what happens is they sent me basically a check, or they put the money in my account. So I borrowed money from myself. I paid off the student loan to a net zero. So that shows up on my credit report as 0. So that's great. Now they automatically deduct, I think it's $280 per paycheck out of my paycheck every cycle. And it goes to pay off my 401k loan, my personal 401k loan. The interest that I'm paying goes back into my 401k. It doesn't go to a bank. It doesn't go to a third party. So I'm paying myself that interest that I would otherwise have paid a bank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I am the bank. My 401k, my retirement is the bank. There are 0 penalties for doing this. The only stipulation is you have to dictate a certain time frame that you want to pay this off. I think I put 3 years. Depending on finances and when I upgrade and all that kind of stuff, I'll hopefully knock that out much sooner. But if I can't, I can live with that couple $100 or $300 or whatever it is coming out of my paycheck every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yes, the student loan is 100% paid off. Now, the method I did to do that, I got a little creative, and I'm basically now paying myself off. So that maintains the integrity of my savings account. And the only downfall or downside is now I'm paying interest to myself, to my retirement, basically it's like putting a little 5 or 6% boost into my 401k every month. So, hey, so be it.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Thanks for the inspiration.
Yeah. That's the thing that people don't realize about flying, though. And like when you take out these loans, is they're like, oh, it's a student loan. I can, totally get the same things that I can that a regular college student does. And you guys are hearing firsthand that it's a private student loan. And that's what happens is you get in this and now you're 120, 150. I don't know what it is up to now, but let's just call it 150 because we all know it's expensive to get that student loan paid off. And, we're finally at a point making good money in the regionals that you can, not sweat going, oh, like I got a, $150,000 loan and I'm making, Tony, what'd you make when you started?
$26,000 a year, first year.
Bill, what'd you make when you started?
Right around there. I think it's 24,000.
Yeah.
So we're finally able to make like next year. I won't this year, but next year as a regional FO, I will pull in 6 figures.
Okay. Took me close to 20 years to do that. You did it in 6 months.
You're welcome. But no, that's what I'm saying is like, we're finally at a point at the regionals where you don't have to sweat $150,000 loan and pay it off 20 years later.
Yeah. Well, there was a point in the transition in like Bill and I's journey where you tried to get a loan and you couldn't get it because so many people, especially after the housing bubble that burst in 2005, so many people wanted to get a private student loan, but they couldn't do it because so many people were defaulting on their loans. And because it's a private loan, a lot of it was not, they'd claim bankruptcy or they would refinance their house and then walk away from their house and do a foreclosure and the loan would disappear and the house would be foreclosed on and then everybody's out, right? So
not a chance. No, not a chance. No, 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 no.